Welcome back, everyone. Wow, what a weekend. We're going to be looking today at the market as a whole, where I think Bitcoin and Ethereum will eventually get to, and how it's going to affect the market, when we're going to reverse. Then we're going to look at BSwap, a little bit more that I left out, that I couldn't get all in that one video. And then we're going to finish it off with what's been going on with Sushi and how some of those conspiracy theories seem a little bit too good to be true. Let's get started.
Fat candle, fat candle, huge fat candle on a bull market. Fat candle, fat candle.
We're going to see multi-X gains again.
Welcome back, everyone. Don't forget to do these things, and let's get started. What I want to talk about today is what normally happens in a Bitcoin bull cycle and why you shouldn't worry. Now, in this card above here, you will see that I did a video talking about Bitcoin corrections and how much they normally correct. Well, let's take a look at how far this would be. This would only be a 25% correction, and it is not a big correction for Bitcoin, by the way. If we go and look at that video, you'll see the average correction can go all the way to 35%, which if it does go that low, we would be all the way down to here at around $8,000. So that's a possibility still. Keep your eyes on that. But for right now, let's focus on where the chart's telling us it might go to, where our supports are. So we have turned and flipped this. We flipped this level, this 100-day EMA. We flipped it, and now it's acting as resistance. We had a hangman off that resistance, which is not good. Likely we come back down to 10,000, and we probably, very likely, will break down at this level on the fifth tap. Usually in the fifth tap, we either go up or we go down. I think on this one, we're definitely going to come down for the third dump. So we had 1, 2, and 3 will bring us probably down to 93, 9400, potentially filling the gap here and bouncing off the 200-day EMA. And that's what I'm thinking is my plan. Now, why I'm saying that is we have gaps right here all the way down to this 9700 level. And we also coincidingly on our CME futures have that same level, but that at my lower level on my normal chart, coinciding right there, which would be the Kumo bottom at 9400. So those are areas to keep your eyes on for those ones. They're very important. If you feel like this, don't get too nervous. This is normal. Remember, I've talked about this before. Looking at Ethereum, we see very similar type of chart patterns. We see a hangman off of resistance, off of the Kijin. Someone asked me yesterday, where do you think ETH's going? Is it going to go to 390 again? Is it going to go to 400? I said, no, probably not, unfortunately for them. And they said, why? And I said, basically, we have a hangman off resistance. We have resistance and the Kijin. It's pulled it up twice now. We're seeing it's tapping again. And very likely we come down to this 317 level, this $306 level. And I'm really kind of thinking that the 200 EMA by later on this week will be right at this 275. That could be a really good bounce level. And remember, we're looking for those, this is like a 30%, a 40% correction. This might be too much, but I think to this level right here would be very doable and very normal for this market. Now, just to quickly check in the DXY, they did say they're going to print more money. We saw these really strong 4 days, which brought the market down. And we got to this 21-day EMA I talked about in previous videos, and we haven't broke it yet. We kept tapping it, but I think likely with the Fed talking about printing more money, we'll come back down. And if we come back down, Bitcoin will go back up. But that doesn't mean we're in the clear, so just keep your eyes out, keep your ears open. Don't get overly bullish or overly bearish right now. I would say that you're more likely to see some bear movements before we are to have bull movements as well. Gold holding that yellow line, like, I mean, how many days have I shown this? We've had this yellow line here of support. So it's kind of like it's golden area right now, so to speak. And so let's watch what happens. Again, this 21-day EMA is starting to act as the resistance, and we're seeing the Tenkins coming down to that same level. So it could be really strong resistance if we keep tapping it and can't break it, okay? And that's basically all I'm going to talk about in the market, because there's no point looking at altcoins, because altcoins will follow Bitcoin if it goes back up. If it goes down, they'll go back down. Remember, I've been saying I'm mostly hedged into USDT. I'm mostly into private sales that were USDT, and I'm just relaxing right now.
The dude is not in. Leave a message after the beep. Text message.
That's right. Chill out. Everything's going to be okay. All right, so we're going to talk about AllianceBlock quickly. It comes out on Tuesday, so you should keep your eyes out for this. This thing has had crazy FOMO inside of the OTC circles. I've seen people trying to buy it for 30 cents a token. It was 1.25 cents per token in its private sale. It was only private sale. There was no public sale. This is basically a very interesting project, mainly because they're bridging the old systems and the new. They're taking traditional finance, centralized, finance, and they're mixing it with decentralized finance together. Their team are full of bangers that all have worked in the space, and they're trying to basically change up how the future, how investment banking has been done from the old system and decentralizing it for the new one. Now, they didn't raise a ton of capital. They're starting market caps under $1 million. So this thing has, I'm not trying to shill it, but it definitely has pumpamentals behind it for what they're trying to do and how little they actually raise and how much FOMO I've seen on aggregators, I've seen in groups. It's actually kind of mind-boggling. I'm glad that, personally, yes, I did get in a small allocation of this one, but it's not why I'm doing the video. I don't have a crazy allocation. I couldn't get it because literally they busted down everyone's allocations because it's so hot. They couldn't keep it for anyone. This is why it's something very big, and even if it hits the public market now, I think it will do really, really well because they're taking what is confusing and difficult about the old system and they're making it a circular system which works together and sustainable and scalable and cutting costs. This is a big piece of it right here. It cuts costs by 70%. You cut out tons of middlemen, which is the whole point of why crypto exists. Cutting out all these people taking your money and for really doing nothing just by having their name attached to it. This is something that's going to definitely be big for investors, for funds, for institutions, for everyone. They're trying to collaborate with them, and you see that Pranav Sharma, who has got a crazy portfolio, he's even bullish about this. And their team, you can look into them more because it's just going to bore you me talking about it. But we've gone over this, and I think that if they create and do everything they say they do, and with the team they have, I believe they can, this will be a project you should definitely keep your eyes on. So like I said, tomorrow you will see this come out. They have supporters from Quant, FinLab, Holochain, etc. Orion as well, they just made a partnership with, which you guys know I've been bullish on in the past and still am pretty bullish on. If they can complete whatever they put on their roadmap, it will be huge. So these projects are why I go over them. I think you guys should take a look. It will be really, really important to see what this one does in the future. So I'll leave you there. Let's jump into our last piece about what is going on with BSwap and how the heck I did this. Let's watch the clip from the other day. Here is the big bomb that I'm going to leave you guys with today. BSwap, Binance Swap, BSwap, whatever they end up calling it, that's coming. All of these pieces to the puzzle, for me, they equal BSwap. There's going to be something that's like that. I don't know if it's going to call that, but it makes a lot of sense to call it BSwap or BNB swap. All right, so that's crazy, right? I think CZ probably feels like this when he saw my video. Very sorry, sir, but I had to do it. BSwap was the name. They basically see what's going on with Uniswap and the fees and things, and this is going to be super low fees, instant liquidity. It's Binance backed. It's, it's a pretty big deal. I have to say it's a pretty big deal because, everything that happens with Binance, it's easy, like I say over and over again, it's one step ahead. So BSwap is going to basically be what Uniswap is, but on Binance chain. And I'm sure some of these projects that are on both Binance and Ethereum will probably start to move and migrate to Binance if Ethereum has these crazy gas fees. I mean, to send out 60 transactions on Ethereum costs $600 right now. Right? This probably makes you all feel safe. But some things I missed. KAVA also has been invested into by Binance. KAVA is also going into the realm of DeFi. Okay, lending and borrowing with rewards and getting them out. Right? So we also have that, and you can also find another piece of the puzzle in Bidao. Now everyone goes, well, where did you see that Bidao was invested into another stuff? So yeah, there's strategic partnerships with Tron and Chainlink's using them, and Teller. Teller. Another. Who else is involved in Teller? Oh wait, Binance. Right. So Binance lets you, and they made this, Bidao actually made this post that you can, Binance Labs incubated them, and they're using Teller as their price oracle. And Binance Dex is also a big part of it, and CZ is a big part of it. So keep your eyes on that. So this is the full circle of what's going on with Binance. You guys now have every project to look at, from Numbers to Travala to SXP to Bin to Trust Wallet to Binance Cloud, TCT. All of these are somehow connected all together, and you should keep your eyes on this because it's pretty big. It's a lot bigger than people realize, and it's why for over a month I said all of this stuff that they're investing into, that they're incubating, all of it's going to come full circle for BNB, and you're already starting to see stuff like that. Use BNB. Watch and wait for it. You also see that with KAVA. Use BNB. Keep that on your mind. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is the Sushi Saga. So, we all saw this over the weekend. Holy crap, Sushi's founder, this anonymous person, maybe it's banned CTO, so much FUD, people fudding me on Twitter saying that people fudding me in groups saying I thought that it was maybe legit, I didn't know. And now what we can see is this. There was some type of to exit, and I think that if this guy had exited on the way up, no one would have said anything about 2.5%. It's only 2.5% of the tokens that they were, they were allowed to sell basically, but he sold them on the way down, and so a lot of people felt really bad about this, really negative about it, and so did I. I was like, man, this is pretty whack, but I didn't FUD, I wanted to see how this actually played out, because we do know that these are super high risk, and I do call them crap coins for a reason, and I do say that you should farm them because you don't have to pay for them. You're basically locking liquidity to get them for free, so if they exit scammed, you would have lost nothing. That's why I wasn't worried about it. But people see this stuff and they get excited and they buy it thinking it's going to moon, and that's very high risk when it comes to yield farming coins. You have to understand there's risk on either side, but there's a lot less risk to no risk if you're farming it. So keep that in mind. So Band Protocol CTO Sarwit Suryaka Khan, I think that's how I say it. I live in Thailand, so he's not too far away from me. I think I've actually met Sarwit a few times as well. He basically said he's not the person, and obviously it's like he say, she say thing, but there's a lot of weird things that are coincidental and a lot of things that people are calling, major reveals. Personally, I'm not too sure. I can't give a comment or an opinion on it. The SushiSwap founder transferred all of the tokens to Sam at FTX. Why did he do that? Well, here is basically what happened. He transferred them, and then Sam was like, you know what? We're going to make this, basically make this a multi-sig wallet. We're going to make it so that people in the industry and the communities can actually, become one of those holders. And myself and many other people said, okay, I'll do it. I'll be a multi-sig holder. I care about the community. Let's see what happens. And the thing is, I really like that he's doing this. But there's another side to this coin that a lot of people have not talked about. Now, there's some really weird connections here, and I have to go over them. And I know you guys will really appreciate this. But basically, CZ lists this coin at the same time as FTX. They're anonymous. I've never seen CZ or FTX list an anonymous, non-KYC, non-investigated project before. So it's kind of strange in the least. Sushi dumps, then the founder basically sells his tokens and tweets about it, which was also really kind of odd. Obviously they put futures onto Sushi so people could short it beforehand. Apparently there was some shorting going on, big heavy shorts right before this happened. So there's all that to think about. Then CZ writes this "we are to blame" Twitter post and literally deletes that post within minutes. people will start messaging me saying stuff like negative stuff, like I supported Band and Sushi, and look at what's happened. And I was like, dude, I don't even know the whole story. You always do your own research. Don't just trust what's on the internet. For God's sakes, this is 2020. You trust stuff on the internet, well, you get what you get wrecked like everyone else then, I guess. So, and then hours after all this, Sam from Alameda, as the CEO of FTX, gets all the tokens sent to him. And you know that FTX is also invested into by Binance, which I showed in my last video. So all these things kind of come full circle. And you start to go, like what really is happening? We also know that Sam from Alameda has Serum. And Serum is a competitor with Uniswap. Start thinking about it. You also have this other little piece, right? And this other piece is that Serum wants to take Uniswap away. We also have BSwap that just showed up. Do you think maybe they're looking to take over this game because they were losing to basically a DEX, which was all market buy and sell gambling? Think about it. And then Sushi is not an anonymous project, so what they're doing to make it not Alameda is they put on this multi-sig wallet, and they're saying, okay, cool. And what happens to the price after everyone thought it's completely wrecked and never will come back? It 3x's in like a few hours. So there's a lot of connections there that I've made, similar to how I did with BSwap, and something, think about it for a little bit and try to come to your own conclusions. I used to be an educator for many years, and this is something I always did with my students. So I'm doing it with you guys. I want you guys to think, why did this happen? How come and how convenient is it that it happened? And what is really going on with SushiSwap? I'll let you guys decide for yourselves. But this is what my boy thinks about it.
My eyes have opened. And once they're open, believe me, what used to look normal seems insane and now keen. Don't you think this has something to do with that? Can't you see?
All right, so quick recap. We looked at a lot of stuff. The market, look for that 97, 9400 range that could come into play. Look to see what happens with the US and inflation rates going up so that they can continue pumping the markets because they had this downturn. Look to see if the DXY changes its pace, comes back down, and the markets pump a little bit before we have a dump again. Second thing is AllianceBlock, Tuesday. Keep your eyes out for it. The third thing, BSwap. Can't believe it happened. Look at all the other stuff that we discovered from the last video and in this one and put all these things together. And the last thing we talked about was SushiSwap. Oh, sushi. But really, crazy conspiracy stuff going on there. So look into that and come to your own conclusions. I really want you guys to come to your own conclusions and leave a comment below and tell me what you really think happened, because I want to know what you guys think. Anyways, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have yourselves a great day. I'm Coach K. See you guys later.
Fat kiddo, fat kiddo, huge fat kiddo. On a bull market, fat kiddo, fat kiddo.
We're gonna see multi-X gains again.